So I left you on my last video on a bit of a cliffhanger of I was doing well with my recovery, and then so what happened was I was doing well, and I was about 7 weeks into rehab, and I was wearing my knee brace, and I was also using my crutches kind of here and there, but around the house I wouldn't really kind of bother with them so much. And I went out to the supermarket with a friend, and basically it just started raining, and so on the kind of forecourt bit of the supermarket it was a little bit slippery. I took a step forward, and basically I was about to slip, and instead of just falling, which I should have done, I should have just flipped over, I tried to stop myself falling, put more weight on my bad leg, and basically it kind of buckled and twisted in all kinds of horrible ways and kind of collapsed underneath me. So I found myself on the floor of the supermarket in the rain with a hugely swollen knee. It was still in the brace, but basically the brace had bent under the force of me trying to hold myself up, and I had this massive balloon for a knee. Kind of skinny straight legs where all the muscle of the waist, with balloon knee, and then straight, kind of no calves either. Ended up going to the hospital in Leicester. This time I did tell my mum that I was in hospital again, and she came up and kind of was there and was really great to support me, and ended up having another operation because basically I had broken it again. So the first time I broke it, it broke vertically, so it kind of chipped off kind of like that and come down, so they'd put a screw in it holding it together like that. However, what had happened when I slipped and kind of fallen the second time was the screw was there and it had broken that way. So it had broken horizontally kind of around the screw, where the screw had been kind of the pressure to hold it together. And this was just a massive blow. To be progressing really well and to then have that setback and have to start from square one was just what the hell. Like, you kind of think, okay, something bad's happened, but I'm going to be positive and I'm going to keep going and it's going to be alright, and then it doesn't always go that way, and you know, bad kind of situations can get worse. But it was so ridiculous almost that I didn't really I got upset initially, but then after that I didn't let myself get upset, because there was nothing you could do but laugh at the fact I've broken my kneecap twice in 8 weeks, even in 2 months. So I kept positive, had another operation, this time with loads of wire. On my x-ray it looked like some kid had come along with a piece of chalk and just scribbled all over it with the amount of wire that was there. So carried on the rehab, back in a cast for a short amount of time, and then back into the knee brace, which was again really good, focusing on the flexion. And because I'd already done it once, it was tough kind of mentally to go, oh God, you know, I've already done this. If I hadn't slipped over, I would have been, you know, 9-10 weeks through as opposed to week 1-2. But at the same time, I knew what I was doing. I knew how to keep myself focused and motivated. I knew the exercises off by heart by now, so that was, you know, kind of easier in that sense. And it was also nice to, I tried to maintain focus on, okay, what opportunities can I find from this situation? So if I hadn't have been injured, I would have been, I'd just finished uni, so I would have been off job hunting, you know, worrying about kind of where I was going to live, money, all that kind of stuff. But I was lucky enough that my mum, you know, let me stay, kind of move back into the house, didn't charge me any rent, and I had an opportunity to spend some time with my mum, which I might not have done, in my family, which I might not have done if I'd finished uni and decided, right, I'm going to go travelling, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I kept that in mind and tried to remain positive. You know, was very cautious for a lot of the time, but it was seeing the small goals really that kind of kept me going. So, you know, you've got your end goal, which is get back to sport, get to wakeboard again, get to play hockey again, which is my other sport. But, you know, there's no point, it's going to take you months and months to get to that point. So why save up all of that kind of, why only reward you or kind of feel good at the end? So I broke it up into little kind of segments and tried to find the challenges in every day. So even if it was just, right, I don't feel like doing my exercises, but I'm going to do them, that's my challenge for the day. And once I've done them, I'm going to feel really good. And when you know you're going to feel good at the end, you start to feel good during them as well. So I remember a kind of real big milestone for me was kind of the quad strength. So I couldn't move any forward motion with my bad leg was just not happening really, and the weight of the cast in the early stages as well made it tough. So one of my exercises was just to be sitting on my bed with my legs out straight, and it was just to tense my quad, try and get some kind of muscle stimulation, muscle firing from the quads. Nothing happened, you know, my leg wouldn't lift, my leg wouldn't move, but I just had to get that connection, that mind-muscle connection back. And I remember the day when suddenly it did actually lift off the bed. I was so excited, and it was like, wow, you know, I've got my muscle back. And once I could do that little milestone, it was then, right, I'm on to the next stage. What are the newer exercises I can do? And there's so much more kind of be taken on. And it was a challenge. It was a kind of really exciting challenge. So I would recommend anyone, kind of, if you're going through a situation where you've got an injury and you know you've got a long journey ahead of you, is break up into kind of small manageable goals that you can achieve, because at the end of the day, you know, any sports person will know achieving a goal, like scoring a goal, achieving a goal, getting a new personal best feels great, and ultimately that's why you do your sport. Injury is exactly the same. Okay, my goal is to lift my leg off the bed. That's the goal, and when you get there it feels amazing, and then you set your next goal and that feels amazing. So why kind of save up all that excitement to the very end point? Why not break it down into things that you can do every single day, little steps that you feel good about? Because ultimately the only reason we do anything is to feel good, and the only reason we play sport is to feel good. You feel good when you come back because you know you've had a good session, you've worked hard, you've scored a goal, you've got man of the match, you feel good about yourself. So try and find things that will allow you to feel good about yourself when you're doing your rehab. Whether it's that you've done it, that you really didn't want to get up first thing in the morning and do your exercises, but you did, and you feel good about the fact that you've done it, and you've got up, and then you feel good about the fact you've done your exercises, and then you feel good about the fact that your injury actually feels better because you've exercised it, so you've been sending blood to that area, and the blood will help circulate and break down all the rubbish and the kind of, you know, gunk that is built up there, and will help to kind of flush it, keep it clear, and it will feel better. So I did a lot of visualization and watching videos of sports, and rather than letting those videos get me upset of, oh, I can't do that, oh, I can't wakeboard, I'd see it as, right, I know the feeling, what it's going to feel like when I get there, and I would get a little taster of that then and there, which would spur me on to then do my exercises and complete what I needed to do, which really kept me going, and I'd say is a great tool. It is kind of visualising, getting lots of resources that can help you and keep you motivated, and really kind of get you inspired. So that would be my advice, and like I said, you only do sport to feel good, so remember that, and kind of practice feeling good now in the state that you are in, because injury won't last forever, and the human body is amazing. Like, if you think about it, you can have an operation, but it's your body that actually kind of fuses the muscle back together. And you can have physio, and the physio treatment and the exercises they give you will allow your muscles to be stimulated so that they grow. However, it's still your body that's doing the healing and doing the growing, and going through rehab and being really committed to it is about aligning yourself and putting yourself in the best possible position to make the best possible recovery. And you may not recover fully. Kind of my story, things don't always go as you plan, even kind of when you try and be optimistic. But it's about, right, what do I enjoy about sport, And I remember when I first went for a run after being injured, was unbelievable, and I would never be that excited about running before. You play hockey and you just run, it's just part of it, but you get excited about scoring a goal. The running's just the thing you do. But to have that appreciation for running and for being on the water when I was wakeboarding, rather than having to push myself to, oh, I've got to do this new trick and I've got to try this and that and psych myself up. Just to be on the water and carving around feels incredible. So injury is a really great opportunity to get back to the heart of what it is about sport that you love and get a true appreciation for sport. And as I said, it may be that you can't return to your original sport. You know, I'm not wakeboarding as much because I don't feel that I can put myself at kind of the risk that I would have to keep myself kind of at the level that I was at and I wanted to be at. And in general, I realised that doing sport in general is more important to me than doing that particular sport. So I've taken up new sports, and you know, if you can't go back to your original one, you may discover a sport that you never knew you would be into. Like, I never dreamed I would be into kind of more intense weightlifting and kind of bodybuilding stuff. But it's a new opportunity that's opened up, and I think try and see every silver lining that you can and every opportunity that comes about, because you know, when you get to an end point and someone said, right, would you change that? And you think, okay, you know, well, I would like to have not been injured, but you think about everything that's occurred and has happened to you, and maybe it's relationships or it's kind of work related or academic that has happened. Would you want to risk losing those for the chance that if you hadn't have got injured, things might have been better? You'll never know, but it's worth thinking, right, what have I got from this, and would I change it? Normally, or I'd hope that the answer would be no, but I can't kind of answer for you, but I certainly wouldn't. You know, I've had a kind of, you know, my boyfriend, I wouldn't have met him if it wasn't for my injury. Kind of academically and kind of on a business kind of level, I wouldn't have been interested in some of the things and been into sports injury, and I certainly wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't had that experience of injury. And this is the sports injury community and kind of the aims and the goals behind it is something I'm really, really passionate about, and that has come because of injury. So what my kind of, I guess my take-home message would be, you know, get back to grips with what it is that you love about sport and the goals. See it, you know, see the challenges, see the little goals and the little achievements that you can be making on the way there, and remember that, you know, we only do anything to feel good. So whatever sport that may be or whatever activity that may be, you know, remember to feel good, and that might be the exercises that you don't want to do, but you know, what about next time you have to do them, get up and go, okay, I'm going to enjoy doing these, and consciously feel that enjoyment and feel that good feeling that you would be feeling if you went for a run, say. Try and get that feeling inside first, and then do your exercises, and see what the results are and what the outcome is of how you feel afterwards, and hopefully you'll feel better afterwards. So thank you very much for listening to my story. Hopefully it's inspired you, and even though you may be going through a different injury, a different sport, a different background, a different outlook, hopefully by hearing my story and also all the other athletes who have submitted stories, you'll, from each one, maybe get one little kind of point or kind of quote that sticks in your mind that makes a difference, that goes, wow, yes, that's it, I've never thought about it like that, and kind of allows you to get that focus. So, and then make a good recovery, full whatever it may be, that you can still enjoy being active in some context, and hopefully you can, you know, share your story with others so that they can make, you know, when they're struggling like you may be now, you can be the one that kind of helps them through it, and pay it back, pay it forward, really. So I thank you for listening, and I hope you kind of make a good recovery. I wish you all the best, and look forward to hearing your kind of recovery stories in the future. Thanks.